Wouldn't it be great if you could just use an AI model and explain in plain English exactly what you're looking for without having to use fancy prompts or weird techniques? And imagine if you could get the AI model to generate code for you the first time and it works perfectly. Well, imagine no longer. Yesterday, Anthropic, who are OpenAI's main competitor, released Claude Sonnet 3.7, and it can do all of those things. It is a game changer, especially for professionals who are non coders who feel left behind by AI. Even though it's not the most exciting name, Sonnet 3.7, it is genuinely the best AI model out there right now. As a tech founder and an entrepreneur who has worked with emerging technology for the past 10 years, I can say without a doubt this is the best AI model that has been publicly released to date. This model works so much better for the average professional who isn't necessarily a programmer or coder. And honestly, I hate adding to the AI hype train, but this hype is actually real. This model finally understands what you mean instead of having to be able to put a prompt together, maybe from some weird paid Medium article you found a prompt in or using bizarre techniques. You can just explain in plain English what you're looking for, and the outputs are crazy good. So, with previous AI models, even Anthropic's previous model, Claude 3.5, still required you to be annoyingly specific, hallucinated, and needed a lot of guidance. It was like dealing with that one coworker who needs everything spelled out in painful detail. But comparing to Claude 3.7, this thing is crazy good. As one Redditor aptly put, just tried Claude 3.7 Sonnet. What the actual F is this beast? You don't need to know all the tricky prompting techniques to get it to understand what output you're wanting, like you often need to use for ChatGPT. You can literally just talk to it like a normal human being, and it actually understands what you want, not just what you literally asked for. If you've ever thought AI models are dumb or frustrating and you lost a bit of faith in the AI model universe, please try Claude Sonnet 3.7, and I promise you, it will change your mind. The Reddit community has been going absolutely off their tartars, looking at different use cases for Claude 3.7. Lots of software developers are getting successful one attempt coding outputs that otherwise were taking them weeks or lots of back and forth with other models. But what's really interesting is how non-technical professionals are using Claude Sonnet 3.7. Anthropic, please rename this model. It's really annoying to say. So there was a marketer that was saying that Claude 3.7 created a complete data analytics dashboards for them that pulled from their Google Analytics, processed it, and visualized trends without them writing a single line of code themselves. They were saying it was mind-blowing. Obviously, it would be, compared to their previous AI experiences. A researcher shared how they used it to process complex data sets and create custom analysis tools that would typically take them an entire semester to build in grad school. They rated Claude 3.7 as 38 out of 40 on their custom tests, while other models scored much lower. The Reddit posts are quite extensive. I will put the link in this video, but there was a healthcare professional who created a patient data report generator that automatically extracts insights from multiple sources, something they previously needed a technical team to. So yeah, everyone on Reddit is going bananas, and anyone who's used Claude Sonnet 3.7 is just like, what is going on? And so I used it yesterday pretty much as it came out, and I used it against a problem I had been solving previously with Claude 3.5, and I could see the night and day difference between the model output. So for the past few weeks, I've been playing trivia. Stay with me on this example. So I needed a Spotify playlist that had all the Grammy Award album winners from 1959 to 2025 so that my team could listen to it and be able to potentially pick out 10 that the trivia master was going to ask us. So that's like 900 songs that I definitely wasn't going to add manually. So with Claude 3.5, that was just the previous model to 3.7, it was a bit of a dance. It would give me winners from only 2015 to 2025 and not all the way back. And then I had to ask for the full range. But then the code that I was needing to create this Spotify playlist automatically would need quite a bit of tweaking and guidance. And it was obviously a lot harder for a non-coder to use Claude 3.5 to generate code because you had to kind of understand why it wasn't working and be able to troubleshoot it. However, so I used Claude 3.7 to do that code yesterday as a test case, and I was shooketh. It not only created code logic that worked the first go perfectly, which never happens, at least not for me, and I watched it reason through what years it needed and other considerations I would normally have to explicitly tell the model like Claude 3.5. So, I mean, it was quite crazy and sort of unnerving that its reasoning that it was going through was exactly what I would tell it to do normally. So, yeah, it was a bit freaky and mind reader vibes, but I loved it. So now where we're at with Claude 3.7, one prompt, perfect working solution, no debugging, no back and forth, just like, cool, there's the code that you needed. And I just find it hard to express like how crazy this is considering I've been working with these models as a software engineer and an entrepreneur for quite a long time. Yeah, bananas. So just the fact that it didn't require like any techniques or massaging, I just told it point blank what I was looking for, and then it just did the thing, which is so hard to do technically, and it feels like some real AI magic. So what does this mean? I mean, obviously for people who don't necessarily write code, it might be confusing, like, how do I use this tool? But if you're in, marketing or healthcare or research or finance, like these kind of like white collar professions or knowledge worker fields, and you've ever thought, oh, I wish I could create a tool that would just do this thing, the gap between what you can imagine and what you can actually build now just collapsed with Sonnet 3.7. You don't need to code. It's overrated, takes a long time. So, if you don't have to learn how to code, that's great. You don't have to hire expensive developers, struggle through tutorials, give up and do things manually, or just like never get the opportunity to be able to build that thing that you have imagined in your mind. Yeah, so the key difference between Claude 3.5 and 3.7 is 3.7 can fill in those blanks. You can describe in normal human language like you'd explain it to a smart colleague and get back solutions that work like pretty much straight away. Yeah, it's bananas. And, it's easier just to reference the Reddit community because obviously it's like a public forum and that's where a lot of discussions on AI happen. Of course, there's other social media platforms, but the Reddit community are pretty good and explain what is going on and how they're using models like Sonnet 3.7. But yeah, they are experimenting with use cases, beyond coding, like creating detailed and accurate marketing plans, custom data analysis tools for scientific research, report generators, dashboards. So there's lots of cool examples of things beyond creating code correctly for the first time. But that's obviously a massive advantage for people who do want to build, software and digital solutions without being software engineers themselves. Now, as much as I say it's magic, I mean, it is close, but there are still limitations to Sonnet 3.7. You still need to be very specific about your goals and what you need. So communication and creativity is key versus how you structure a prompt necessarily. And I'm sure there'll be some teething, teething pains with having usage limits and kind of the capacity, because I'm sure a lot of people will start using this model, you know, similar to when people got super hyped about DeepSeek. But I think that Anthropic can handle the usage a lot better than the other DeepSeek company. And then, super complex tasks, you still might need some back and forth, but there's a lot more allowance for continuation. So when you do put in a complex request to the AI model, it recognizes that it won't be able to fulfill that output in one go. And it'll actually say to you, do you want to continue this prompt? Or do you want to continue this output, so that you can kind of sequentially go through the outputs that you need, versus it kind of coming to a stop and saying, there you go, just hit my hand. But yeah, the bar has dropped dramatically for non-coders to build digital solutions themselves. And the Reddit community, and I'm sure others, hold up in their houses like me, discovering new use cases every day. What gets me most excited is seeing professionals in all fields suddenly having superpowers they didn't have access to before. This isn't about replacing jobs. I talk a lot about that on my podcast, AI and Anxious. It's about giving everyday professionals the tools to build cool and side hustles and AI workers and teams around them, so that they have more resources to do cool stuff and to be able to scale the impact that they're already making. I feel like Sonnet 3.7 is an inflection point where you no longer need to learn to code to take advantage of custom automation and tools. You just need to be able to explain what you want, and Claude 3.7 is good enough to fill in those technical gaps. So again, communication and creativity are now really the key skills that you need to focus on, which is something I cover in my course, Gen AI Jumpstart. Obviously, I have to throw a shameless plug in there. If you've tried Claude 3.7 for anything in your professional life, I'm super keen to hear about it in the comments. So do put that down. What did you build? What surprised you? If you haven't tried the model yet, think about one tedious task that you do repetitively and give it a shot. Ask Claude Sonnet 3.7, how would I solve this problem? And you may be shocked at what is now possible. Thanks for watching my rant on Sonnet 3.7. I am not sponsored by Anthropic, but I wish I was, because I love the models that they release, and this model is incredible. I mainly release content in a podcasting format, but I'll do more of these types of videos with news updates and focus more in the AI agent space in general. But new models coming out is always amazing, because that is going to be the underlying model that I use for building my AI agents. I am very passionate about empowering professionals who are non-coders to get the most out of AI. So any content in line with that mission you will see here or in my future courses on blackfeatherai.com or Udemy. Hit subscribe, please, and I promise it'll be worth it.